So, evening lovelies, just getting settled into whatever position you want to start in. How's your body feel after your day? So maybe either lying down or seated, whatever you prefer. And this is a nice, relaxing wind down practice this evening. Nothing too taxing. Just that opportunity to sort of tune in and reflect on your day and how you're feeling and how your body feels. And the beauty of yin is that there are a lot of silences during the postures on purpose, so that you can really just feel into it without having to be listening to someone or directed too much. Many people think yoga is about being bendy and flexible. And although that comes with it, perhaps, it really is far from the truth. Yoga is all about us finding our authentic self, coming back to the self from all the conditioning that we've had through the years as we've grown up, through all the culture styles that we've been through. It's finding who we are, peeling the layers back of the onion to find that beautiful diamond that is ourselves inside. So as we practice this evening, perhaps have that little thought just bounce around in your mind of who you are, who is your authentic self. And the poses will help to reveal this. The silence will help to reveal. Some parts we may not like or challenge us, and in other parts we will like of ourselves. And that's all part of the journey. Just as you sit or lie here, take a moment to notice how you're feeling, physically in your body, mentally and emotionally. And it's always nice to reflect at the end of your practice whether what you're feeling now has sort of just slipped away. We've chipped away at some of what we're holding. So we'll come up into Zazen. If you're already seated, that's great. If you're lying down, just have a few moments to draw the knees in. Enjoy a little hug and a rock on your back. And if you're already seated and you just need to sort of roll shoulders and move gently, just to get comfortable as we sit for 5 minutes. So joining me seated. Before we start, there was just something a little one line that I came across in this book, which I'm always leafing through. So for the meditation this evening, I think this is something that it would be nice to ponder. And this quote, "If the only prayer you say in your whole life is thank you, that would suffice." Isaiah Eckhart. And I thought that was really quite a powerful, lovely little quote. If the only prayer you say in your whole life is thank you, that would suffice. So let's have 5 minutes of thinking about what we're thankful for, really, what we're grateful for, because when you're in a state of gratitude, it really is a beautiful energy to be in. So 5 minutes, comfortable, rest your hands to Dhyana Mudra. Just gently let your eyelids close. Settle your breath. And perhaps start with I am thankful for, carrying on. Just enjoy making a really long, extensive list in your mind. Staying relaxed. Just take a few gentle breaths and coming back. Was it difficult to think of all the things that you can say thank you for and are grateful for, or did you get stuck after a little while of a few things that you've mentioned? Okay, so our first pose, we're going to come into seal. But as it's an evening practice, I like to get really comfortable in this one. Your back might be aching a little bit from your day, so using a cushion under the chest and just becoming allowing this to be really supportive. So maybe taking your elbows a little bit wider than you normally would. You can use a little block for your forehead. And just allowing yourself to really settle into this pose, checking in with how your lumbar spine feels. It might be a bit tender, but trying to relax your buttocks and legs. Just let the heels sort of fall into the middle if they do. Notice the tension you might be holding in your shoulders and neck. Noticing if you're tight in your buttocks and the lower back. And even the upper back and your shoulder blades. Checking in with your breath. Whether you're tight in your abdomen. What's your body saying internally? If you could have a kind of an internal dialogue with what's going on in your body, what would it be saying? Allow yourself to listen to your intuition. Allowing your lower back to soften even more. Noticing if it's becoming slightly more comfortable. And then gently, when you're ready, let's take one more breath. Lifting your head up. Finding neutral spine. Just noticing how long it took you to settle into that pose. Whether you fell into it quite quickly or it took virtually all the time to relax into it. And relaxed, really tuning into that lower back. What you're feeling, what temperature, hot or cold, tingling. Does it feel different from normal? Perhaps your body really needed that little stretch this evening. It feels quite nourishing. And then when you're ready, let's draw knees in. Little hug. If you haven't had a hug from anyone today, then just enjoy giving yourself a hug. How does it feel as you rock on your back? And then when you're ready, we'll come up. Dragonfly. So bringing your legs out wide. If you like to have something very small, sort of rolled up at the edge of your buttocks, then that's always quite nice. Or if you need something under your knees, that's an option. Otherwise, we'll just gently settle into this pose. And I think it's always interesting to notice where you start out, because you might feel quite stiff after your day. And you often feel like you can't move too far into it. This is where your body goes. But just be curious over the 5 minutes and see how you soften. Relax. Belly breaths. Just allow yourself to perhaps soften a bit more into your pose, see if there's any movement. Relaxing shoulders, head and neck. Checking in with your breath. And how does each leg feel? Can you feel it more on the inner leg than on one than the other? Do you feel like you really need to go into this stretch quite deeply this evening, or shallow is where you feel best? Keep relaxing anything that's tight. Notice if you find your toes pointing or your feet tense. And just exploring any more movement. How do you feel? Does it feel good in this pose tonight? Let's take one long deep breath. Before you move, just checking where your body is softened to, whether it surprises you, the shape that you end up in, and then just gently coming up slowly, really mindfully feeling that lovely release on the inner part of your leg and your back. And then we'll find neutral spine again. Being gentle, really being curious as to what you're feeling through your legs. Really lovely for your spleen, kidney and liver, that pose. Take your time to let your back relax. It might take 3 or 4 breaths to let everything soften. Keep relaxing. Even if you feel you're relaxed, there's usually a little bit more muscles through your back. Notice your breath, the quality of your breath. And in this stillness, just witness your thoughts as well. And then we'll bring these in. Enjoy a nice rock before we come up into heart bench. If this evening you'd prefer bench, please by all means take that option. I do like to give you an option come the end of the day. If you really feel like your back is aching and you could do with that sort of feeling of the blocks. But if you feel actually I really need to be more nurturing and soft with myself, take the pillow behind your back. It's up to you, and it's really nice to make that decision yourself. Because there'll be some times that I think I'd probably take the softer version. This evening I need this. So choose what you want to feel, and we'll gently lie back. So with heart bench, as always, that block behind the heart, aligning along the spine, and then just one block for your head. If you're lying back over the cushion, and just be comfortable, allow the head and neck to be supported. And if you need to move your block a few times just to get the perfect spot, it always is best to do that. Relax. So a very gentle back bend here, not too much, but nice counterpose to dragonfly. Let your chin tuck in, Noticing that lengthening in the neck. How do you feel? What do you feel? Where do you feel it? Noticing how your heart energy feels today. Have you had a joyful day? Heart opening experiences? Or the opposite, sometimes we can have some really experiences that we want to close our heart energy, protect it. And in this pose especially, it's lovely just to come back to that, what we did with our meditation, being thankful, especially as the heart is nice and open. Keep looking for areas you can relax. Might be your hands or your wrists, cheeks or the muscles around your eyes. Just following the breath in your belly. And one more breath. Really slowly lifting the head, supporting your body as you lift up. And then just coming back onto the mat. Noticing what you're feeling. Sometimes it's afterwards we can really feel how much tension that we were holding in our upper body. Just allow the mat to support you, and you can just soften into the mat. How does your back feel after a few minutes lying here? And then we'll take our knees in. We're going to come into banana. So we get a nice, lateral stretch to our body. We've come forwards and backwards. If you want to hug the knees in more, bring your head up here. You can do. So bringing your legs back down to the mat. We'll come over to the right. So feet right, right foot over your left, shoulders up to the right top corner, and just perhaps release the buttocks, make them more comfortable. And then enjoy wherever you want your arms to be. If, because it's a nice evening practice, you might want to leave your arms by your side of your body. But if you're drawn to having them overhead or in goalpost arms, cactus arms, just moving them around as you feel you want to. But trying to relax as well. Certainly the lower back and buttocks. Often the sides of the waist can hold a little bit of tension still. And just also notice if your abdomen feels a little bit tight when you're breathing. What's going through your mind? Keep checking for anything else that's a bit tight. You can relax. And the lovely thing about these poses that where we do both sides, it really does encourage balance to your feminine and your masculine side, Ida and Pingala. So we'll take a deep breath, maybe a long sigh, and gently wriggle your feet back into centre. Just shuffle shoulders centre. Have a moment. Just tuning into the intricacies of the after effect of that pose. The very subtle differences that you notice. Where do you find perhaps some coolness on the body? Perhaps some coolness on the legs. around the knees. So before we come into the other side, if you want to hug the knees in, you can do. I always quite like to come into this pose because it sort of resets you, ready for the other side. And so now just extending legs to your left foot over right, release your buttocks and then shuffle shoulders, top left. Take a lovely deep breath in, and as you sigh that out, relax everything, belly, sides, buttocks, even the head and neck. Working with our masculine side. And this is especially lovely for the health of your gallbladder. Checking in with the quality of your breath, whether it's lovely and relaxed, whether you feel like the breath is deep and nourishing. If the mind wanders off, just come back to the feeling of your breath in your belly, moving up to the chest. Just staying present with the body. And then gently we'll take a gentle breath here. Come back into neutral spine. Let everything reset. And noticing what you're feeling. Such a gentle stretch, but really quite powerful. Even though we've stretched the outside of our body, we've crossed the legs. So notice if you find there's a coolness or a sensation on the inner thighs. The gentle symbols that chi is moving. So when you're ready, let's hug knees in. And the last pose is waterfall, which I know is a favourite of a lot of you. It's very restful, and I always quite often like to bring it into the end of a practice. So have a few moments just massaging your spine, and then grab a cushion or anything that just can lift your buttocks away. If you've got a blanket, you can pop it over your feet and let it sort of fall over your legs like a waterfall. That's always nice. So let's take some time here, just enjoying this lovely, probably the gentlest inversion that you can do in yoga. Great for tired feet. If you've been on your feet all day, relaxes the heart. With your eyes closed, you can draw that awareness to your third eye. Focus on your breath. Just aware if you have any funny little noises in your tummy. Energy stimulated, shifting round. How do you feel in this pose? If you need at any point to put your feet down, please do. And as you breathe, you can feel your back push into the mat. Just following your thoughts. Enjoying this time to just be with your thoughts. And then we'll gently start to bend the knees, lower the feet down. And again, just take neutral Shavasana just before we come into relaxation. Just feel out from waterfall. Just observe the after effects. And gently deciding where you want to relax now. Either seated or remain lying down, making yourself as comfortable as possible. So make sure you're warm and cozy. And it was something I found that I thought I might read you. Quite a strange little piece. It's called Resting on a Mountain Ledge. But sometimes following a piece of writing or somebody's thoughts can just allow your mind to focus on one thing and not drift off. So, Resting on a Mountain Ledge by John Mundell. I fell asleep today on a mountain ledge in Utah, near Moab, where the Colorado cuts the canyons. My bed was Navajo sandstone. Overhead, only blue sky, no clouds, and nothing to break the silence except a distant crow. Everything was still. The vaulted canyons, the ancient rocks, the distant mountains covered with snow. Everything except my shattered mind, which raced on like a bully, determined to deny me a quiet moment. But then, as if in pity, or perhaps from sheer indifference, the silence of 100 million years of rock and wind and rain told my mind, that's enough, and dealt the frothing tyrant a death blow, and I too lie still, my eyes closed, asleep like a child. The great depth is all there is. Seek it out, become its friend. Rest your head there and fall asleep. A little quote by Lao Tzu. I let go of what I am. I become what I might be. So just relaxing as I read those words, perhaps you could visualize this place and the feelings that are described. And sitting with that stillness. just for a moment. Imagine that you are lying on the top of a canyon, quite safe, but on that ancient landmass. It was once underwater. And just imagining the stillness that you would feel there, the quietness. It's quite often nice to bring to mind the way someone describes something. See if you can imagine it in your own mind's eye. And if you can get that really clear picture and that real sense of quietness and depth, it's a lovely one to remember that you can go back to. It's almost like take a mental photograph, and that can be a thing you visualize when you need some stillness. So gently, just coming back from wherever you went, wherever the mind went. Perhaps take a deep breath. Notice what muscles have just sort of tensed up again and just relax them. And beginning to wiggle fingers and toes. Gentle movements, just coming back into your evening really slowly. Not too much stimulation. If you're lying down, hug your knees in. Gentle rock. And then gradually coming up to seated. Just trying to move through the rest of your evening nice and slowly. The quietness that you felt in your mind, just take that with you. Don't let anything come in and be busy. So, bringing hands to heart center. Om Shanti. Namaste.